Welcome, folks. I'm welcoming Michael Libbie. He's currently sits on the city council on Windsor Heights. He was elected 4 years ago. And Michael's, of course, running for re-election. So with that, Michael, I'm going to give the floor to you for the next 5, maybe 6 minutes. So the
Thanks.
floor is yours. Thank you.
Thanks, Mitch. Greetings, everyone, and thank you for doing this. This is a really valuable look at each one of the candidates that have answered the questions that the Iowa Unity Coalition have put out. I've been a longtime member of the coalition, as you may know. Unfortunately, either I or you guys changed your meeting date because Windsor Heights City Council meets on the first and third Mondays of each month. And of course, the next meeting of the Iowa Unity Coalition is going to be on the 16th. That's also a date that we have our city council meeting.
I'm sorry, Michael.
Hey, you do what you can do, right? Maybe we could just stream it all at the same time. One of the cool things about being on the city council in Windsor Heights is that I was elected on a write-in vote. The story is really relatively unique. There were 3 open positions for the city council in Windsor Heights. Only 2 people filed papers. That left 1 of the city council seat open. I started getting calls from the Polk County Democrats, the Iowa Democrats, and others where I'm deeply involved. And they said, hey, why don't you run a write-in campaign? And I said, well, nobody wins a write-in campaign. Are you out of your mind? And they said, no, we're with you. We can help. And so I had 30 days to campaign for this office. And at the end, where there were 273 votes cast for write-in votes, I got 235. And so Jamie Fitzgerald, my good friend down at the auditor's office, said, hey, congratulations, you're in. And it's been a great ride. I have to tell you, we have a very progressive city council. Our mayor is very progressive. I understand he is now also a member of the Iowa Unity Coalition as well. Mike Jones is his name. Very progressive guy. Of the 5 of us that sit on the Windsor Heights City Council, 4 are registered Democrats. 1 is a registered Republican. What happens during our meetings is really the very basic of what government is all about. We can't hide from our constituents. We live among them. I hold a monthly listening session at Grounds for Celebration in Windsor Heights each and every month for 2.5 hours and sit there and listen to what folks want us to do, what they expect of their city council, what they may like, what they may not like. I was very instrumental in bringing a brand new apartment complex to Windsor Heights on University and 63rd. It's called the Windsor, 105 units there, a market rate. And this is going to boost our population. By the way, we have 5,270 people in Windsor Heights, and this is going to boost our population pretty greatly. And we're really excited about that. I was on the spearhead with the Presbyterian Church on 63rd and the University to try to sell that property, and we got that done. Besides that, one of the other things that I'm really proud about is our recycling efforts in Windsor Heights. I went to a place to turn in fluorescent light bulbs one day, and they wanted to charge me. They did. They charged me $5 a piece. I had 30 of them. So $5 a piece times 30, that's a lot of money. And so I went to our city and I said, hey, why don't we start to collect fluorescent light bulbs and batteries and other things so that we can recycle them properly? And we got that through. And now our city hall, also on 66th and University, is a repository for all those kinds of things. Cardboard down at Colby Park. We just, by the way, had a splash pad event on Friday of last week, where we cut a ribbon and invited people to come to this splash pad. We have spent over $2 million putting together Colby Park, and part of that is a splash pad for kids and adults, I guess, if you want to come. and it's been a real successful operation. So I'm very pleased about the efforts that we've been able to accomplish in Windsor Heights. I'm very pleased about the people that I work with. We have a top-notch fire department, a top-notch police department that really cares not only about the people that are in those departments, but also each other. Every single time I see Chief Roth, our police chief, he comes up to me, he says, Michael, you ever need anything, you know how to get in touch with me. And that's important. And he treats his staff as well as everybody with that same love and affection. And, you know, government works best when you listen rather than talk. And so that's what we're all about. We're listening to the 5,200 people that currently reside in Windsor Heights, and it's a pleasure to be there.
Okay, well, I've got two questions for you,
Sure.
if time permits. So the first question is from question one of the questionnaire. Asks what sustainability measures have been implemented in your community? And you actually just got done talking about one just a while ago, and what still needs to be done, and whether you would prioritize spending on these programs. In your answer, you stated that all of the measures you outlined have cost your community very little, and that you expected to spend an additional $125,000 on the Icon Water Trail Access Point project in Colby Park, which you also talked about Colby Park. Exactly how much did the outlined measures cost your community? Also, for clarification purpose, is the $125,000 the amount of the Icon Water Trails grant, or will your community need to come up with additional $125,000 for the project in addition to the amount of the grant you already received?
Yes, so I sit on the Iowa Icon Water Trails Board, as a matter of fact, as an elected official from Windsor Heights. And we were successful in getting that $125,000 grant from Icon. But of course, we have to pony up some money as well. And that's about another $125,000. Where we get that money is through the resources that we already have. And what we're going to be able to do is put in this access point on Walnut Creek, which will allow people to perhaps kayak if the water is high enough. It will also allow an entry point if somebody wants to go there and cool off during the hot summer months. And it's all signage that's going to be placed there. One of the things I'm really excited about is that Icon Water Trails will put a sign up right there at the site. And this is right next to the pavilion outside in Colby Park that indicates what this is and how it's been paid for and what folks can do to enjoy the waterway. And it's really a neat project, and I'm excited about that. I already mentioned the other sustainability projects, fluorescent light bulbs and batteries and cardboard, and whatever we can do to help keep costs down for our residents while allowing sustainable measures to go forward.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, one more question, and
Sure.
that'll be it. Then we'll wrap it up. Question two of the questionnaire asks you how your community is addressing affordable housing availability, how changes in federal funding impact affordable housing in your community, and what other resources are available to fund these local projects. In your answer, you mentioned that the Windsor Heights is landlocked in nature without access to land, limited the ability to build affordable housing. But the city recently purchased a dwelling on 65th Street with the idea of turning it into a group home. How many people will the dwelling on 65th Street accommodate? It is intended to be the first purchase in the series of group home acquisitions, or is it a one or done? Further, Windsor Heights landlocked nature preventing the city from building up as opposed to building out. Please explain your answer if yes.
Sure. So the house that we purchased, it was a private residence, and it's in some need of repair. We reached out to Lutheran Family Services first, until Lutheran Family Services lost federal funding because apparently they are a money laundering organization, or from what I understand, anyway, from the governor. And
Oh, yeah.
so they couldn't use it. We've reached out to Beacon, we've reached out to Bridges of Iowa, we've reached out to several different organizations saying, hey, we've got this house and we can see that it's probably going to be there for 5 to maybe 8 years as we acquire other purchases. And why we're acquiring those purchases is to make a corridor, if you will, from the Windsor out to 65th Street so that people can turn left or right onto University Avenue and access our downtown. Right now, problematic is that the Windsor on 63rd and University only has right turn in, right turn out. So you can only access that facility by turning right, which means that School Street, immediately to the south of the Windsor, is going to get a lot of traffic. So we need to find a way to remediate that. And this is the first step. The other project is along from 65th until 64th Street or so, is that our plan is to buy some homes there and then redevelop those homes into retail and living spaces for individuals who wish to live in Windsor Heights. As far as it goes with regard to affordable living, there is a former motel on Hickman that has transferred itself from a motel into apartments, and those apartments have low cost entries. They are 1 and 2 bedroom apartments, and they've done a nice job. And to be able to do that, they also sent some land to Windsor Heights. And our problem is not like West Des Moines or Urbandale or Clive or Waukee. We're 1.25 miles by 1.25 miles. We ain't got much room. So, as far as sustainable housing and low cost housing, we're pretty well done. We do have some Airbnbs that we get some hotel motel tax for. What I'm really concerned about, I mean, irregardless of all this, is how the legislature is going to go from hands off with regard to local option whatever, and how they are coming after us with caps on property taxes, which is going to degrade the level of service that every city gives. It's not impacted us as much as it has some of the bigger cities and the metro, but it is really a dangerous thing. And so we have to really fight like hell to make sure that we switch some seats in the legislature so that we can take back at least one of those areas, and perhaps even get a new governor that will see that it's really important for local communities to thrive and grow.